Hello, everyone. Merry Christmas. I hope you're having an awesome Christmas day. How are you? And how are your babies? What have you been up to? Anything new? I'd like to know down in the comments. It has gotten really chilly down here in South Texas, I'll tell you what. But I'm so glad you've decided to join me here for this little change in chat. We're going to be having a little party here at my house this Christmas Eve, and a bunch of family are going to come over. And I am not the best socially. I get a little bit anxious, so I like to have one of my babies with me whenever we have big family gatherings like that. And I figured I would get little Cain Sawyer Sawyer here changed into a cute little Christmas outfit today. Yes, this means that I am pre-recording this video and scheduling it to upload on Christmas Day. I hope that's okay. Anyway, the outfit that I'm getting him changed into is actually one of my Christmas wishes that came true. It's a Rankin and Bass Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer onesie with these cute little footies, and it's printed all over with Santa and Rudolph. There's the footies, and this is the back. Super cute. I really didn't think I was going to find anything Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for my babies this year. But I went into Belle's and there was all this Rudolph stuff for small babies, anywhere from newborn to 3 to 6 months, even bigger, I think. There was a lot left. Is anybody else's babies wearing some cute Christmas movie stuff? Let me know. And here is a plastic bag that I'm always using to put over my baby dolls' heads when I'm dressing them in different outfits because it helps protect their paint and their hair. It's a lot less wear and tear on them. So, disclaimer, this is a doll. This is a doll of a character that I created named Cain Jr. Sawyer, and he is from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film universe. Specifically, the 1974 original film directed by Tobe Hooper. I have to say, I really enjoy making my own characters for stuff that I get really interested in because it's such a fun way to explore that universe and the cast of characters therein. And it's also a really entertaining way of showing my love for whatever fandom I'm into. I might add as well that it's also extremely therapeutic to do so because I can take out any emotions that I might have from real life experiences in my writing or my art featuring these characters, and that just feels so good. And then on top of that, now with Christopher, who is in one of my other videos, and Cain, I have a couple of beautiful art dolls, Reborn art dolls created for me by Camelin Creations on Etsy, of these characters that I can hug and snuggle whenever I feel like I need that. But in this case specifically, there is comfort for me in comforting a fictional character that I didn't create. And that character, as shocking as it may sound to some, is the character of Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, fair warning, this video is going to feature discussion of this horror film, so if horror films are not your thing, you may want to click off the video now. So, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is this film about these people that are stopping at different places around Texas. They go to this graveyard to check on a grandfather's remains. They have a run-in with this crazy hitchhiker character. They've stopped by a gas station for directions. They go where they're meant to go, but they still don't have any gas because the gas station was all out. So a couple of them try to go to the nearby house to ask for gas money or extra gasoline, only to be met with the character of Leatherface. And Leatherface, in fear of not doing right, quote unquote, by his family, not doing what they want him to do, he takes them all out, one by one, with a hammer, with a chainsaw, whatever he can use. His character has been described as pure evil, as brutal, gory, intimidating, terrifying, unnerving. You get the gist. But what I think many people miss are the few telltale signs in the film that he's not simply doing these things because he's this evil, terrible person. As a matter of fact, after he takes out, I want to say the first person, maybe the second one, he starts showing signs of having a bad case of nerves. First, he goes and checks the window to see if any more people are coming, where they're coming from, why they're coming, and he's doing it in a panic. And then he starts to sit down in a chair by the window, and he starts kind of like touching over and feeling his mask and the hair on his mask, etc., etc. And it's sort of, I think it's a grounding technique for anxiety, because as he's doing this, he kind of starts to calm down a little bit. So that gives us an indication that he is not enjoying what he feels he has to do. Another clue is that he is often screaming and freaking out while they are screaming and freaking out, sometimes even before. And a bit later into the film, there is a scene where Cain Sawyer, the head of the family, who was also the guy who worked the gas station that they got the directions from, he is seen coming home, and first he scolds Nubbins, the hitchhiker, about not doing things he was supposed to be doing. And then he gets home and he starts in on Bubba, on Leatherface. He corners him, scolds him, yells at him, threatens him. And it's very clear that Leatherface is terrified of this behavior. Now, none of this, of course, excuses what Leatherface does, why he's the iconic slasher of the franchise, but it does explain his motivation for doing the things he does. He is stressed, he is a nervous type of character, he is very obviously in a very bad family environment, a toxic environment, he is abused, and all of that kind of made me feel a little bad for him. He does what he does because he doesn't want to be scolded or yelled at. He just wants to be loved by his family. At least that's the way I see it, and it seems to be the way it's seen by a couple of other people that I know that are Bubba fangirls. So I saw this nervous, abused character who might be autistic because he's not the most verbal. He does speak, but his communication is limited to gestures, expressions, and different animalistic sounds. He doesn't really speak words. I just took one look at him and thought, oh, he needs love. And I did think a few other things as well. Mainly that the actor who played him, the actor underneath the mask, was pretty cute to me, not gonna lie. So there I was going, oh, he's actually pretty cute under there, and his character is so love-driven, and so few people see that. He just wants love, he just wants to be loved. So I saw that and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a character that's going to love him. So that was when I started working on a character by the name of Rosette Miller, who is like my stand-in, my self-insert that gets to love him for me. I get to love him through her, I guess. It's also very weird, I know. Oh, really quick there's the mitts that I'm going to be putting on Cain. They're so cute. They look like a candy cane stripe set of mitts. They make me think of candy canes. So anyway, the thing with Rosette was I created this character that was a blonde-haired, green-eyed bombshell, cowgirl type of character, and I thought I was set. So I had my design and I started writing her story. And her story is basically that she goes to Louisiana for this voodoo festival with a group of friends. They end up accidentally breaking an artifact. She gets a curse on her that makes it so she can regrow any limb. And in the process, she loses almost all of her friends because they get unsubscribed from life because this is a horror story. And she flees back into Texas with friends that she has remaining after the incident with the artifact, and they try to get help at the Sawyer house, which is IMO wrong house, and they meet with Leatherface and the rest of the family, and she gets captured, and the Sawyers quickly find out that she has this curse on her that makes her regrow limbs, so they kind of decide to keep her as like a renewable food source. And Leatherface is set to watch over her like her guard and take care of her, and that ends up resulting in them spending a lot of time together, and she sees this much softer side of him and they fall in love. That's the whole basic gist. It's basically Beauty and the Beast, but with like horror elements, and at some point she ends up having to face off with a friend that she would have thought was still a friend, would have, and that ends up proving her loyalty, newfound loyalty to the Sawyer family, and it ends up getting her into the family. And that's the overall gist of her story. Also, she does find out that she's pregnant with Cain before the end of the story, before she even discovers that friend going against her. So I had my story and I had my character designs, because by then I had even started designing Cain and his sister Anne-Marie based on a mix of Leatherface and Rosette's original designs. But then a major hiccup came. I started watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and the first thing that I really noticed was the leading lady that Leatherface fell in love with in that movie was not a blonde, green-eyed bombshell type. In fact, she was pale like me, she had brown hair like me, and she had blue eyes like mine. And that created a slight problem for me. I don't enjoy creating characters that look that much like me. I don't know, it just freaks me out. But I'm also the type that loves to stick to what we've been given in the existing book or video game or movie or TV show or whatever it is. So, against my own wishes, I was kind of forced to redesign her as a brunette with big blue eyes and fair, pale skin. Yeah, it wasn't my preference. It wouldn't have been my choice personally, but that's what happened. And as a result, Cain and his sister Anne-Marie had some design changes as well. And I'll show that in some of my art on the screen here. Cain originally had brown eyes because he really takes a lot after his dad, who has brown eyes. And his sister had their mother's green eyes, not blue, although they did border between green and blue when I last drew her, but she was supposed to have more greenish eyes. And after the change to their mother, I was like, well, I guess Anne-Marie now has to have blue eyes. And with talks with Camelin, when making this doll version of Cain right here, it occurred to me that blue eyes actually might look a little bit better on his design overall, so I just changed them both to having blue eyes. So even though they're inspired by and based on only the first movie, their designs were affected by the second film. Their personalities, though, and the story, for the most part, have remained the same. I haven't made any changes to those. Cain, from the very get-go, has been... I think he's always been autistic, but I didn't really know it until I tried creating him on my Sims 4 game on my PC. I wasn't doing all the work myself. It wasn't me being in Create a Sim creating him. No, it was me playing as Rosette, having her fall in love with Bubba, having them get married and do NSFW things, and she wound up pregnant with a boy. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be Cain. He's their firstborn kid. So he came out, and I have mods, tons of mods on my Sims game. One of them assigns different disabilities to your Sims at birth, and he came out with autism. And I remember it was kind of a light bulb moment for me because I hadn't realized that before that point in my head I had been writing him as autistic. I knew that he kind of got obsessed with certain odd things. I knew that he was only semi-verbal, not totally verbal. I knew that he struggled with reading but still loved to listen to stories. There were all these things that should have been light bulb on over my head, but oh no, it took The Sims to tell me that he has autism. And I find it funny because I myself am autistic, so I don't know how I missed it. And then not long after that, I started seeing articles on the internet, or on Tumblr specifically, that were arguments with evidence in favor of Leatherface having autism. So I was like, okay, yeah. Going on the theory that it's something that a child can inherit from another family member, such as a parent or a grandparent, that fits. That fits. So anyway, there's little Cain Jedediah Jr. Sawyer, all dressed up for Christmas. Isn't he cute? Oh, by the way, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but Jedediah is the real first name of Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw, supposedly, so he's named after his dad. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed my craziness today, and I also hope that you all have a very Merry Christmas, and I'll be seeing y'all again hopefully soon. See ya!